Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Shawan Breifel, and I am a Community Engagement Specialist with the City of Frederick. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your night to come hang out with us. In a few moments, Mayor Michael O'Connor will begin a brief update regarding the budget. We also have with us Katie Barkdahl and Lacey Gordon, the Director and Manager of the Budget and Administration Department. After Mayor O'Connor's update, we will open the floor for a public comment section. Please remember that it's public comment and not so much Q&A. All right, Mayor Michael O'Connor.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for coming out this evening and helping us to kick off our budget process for fiscal year 2026, which feels like a funny thing to say in November of 2024, but that's how the budget math works. We started this process last year of trying to do some budget town halls. We did them a little bit later last year, so we're trying to get an earlier start this year because of the way the budget timing works out, and to be able to hear from the community at a time when we're more confident that that input can actually inform both the mayor's proposed budget as well as the budget that the council ultimately is going to receive and make their decisions on. The city council, which is new terminology in the city of Frederick, just a couple of weeks old. We have a city council now. A charter change has replaced the Board of Aldermen title with city council. The city council is the entity that approves the budget, the tax rate, the position schedule, and the fee schedule for the city of Frederick. They do all of those votes by simple majority. A tax rate needs to be approved for the city of Frederick by May in order for us to meet the county's requirements, because they do our property tax billing for us with our tax rate information as a part of that bill. The budget for the city of Frederick by charter needs to be adopted by the 20th of June. If the council does not adopt the budget by that date, then the budget that has been proposed by the mayor becomes the budget with the new fiscal year that will start on July 1st of 2025. I am permitted through the charter process to revise my budget through the 14th of May. That is often done in response to the public hearing process that the council will go through to consider the mayor's proposed budget. And we will hear and listen to their comments and questions. And where there is agreement on changes that we should make to that budget, then we will propose a budget amendment that reflects what we've determined to be a consensus of both our office as well as that of the council. Any of those changes that I make to the proposed budget prior to that May 14th date are the new mayor's proposed budget. After the 14th, all of the ability to change the budget rests with the city council, and they have the ability to do that as one or a series of motions on the evening of budget adoption, which usually happens at the second council meeting in May. All revisions to the budget that I present, have to keep the budget in balance. We are not permitted to show or approve a budget that shows expenditures in excess of revenues. We wanted to try and give you a little bit of a snapshot, and I will tell you right now that the printing on the pie chart here is tiny. It really is to just sort of give you a sense of where the dollars for the city come from and what they are spent for. So these are the general revenue types by operating fund, and you will see the large blue section of it is taxes. Those are predominantly property taxes, but may include a portion of income taxes as well that come back to city residents for income taxes that you pay to the state. The next largest service is the purple chunk, which is charges for services. So that could be the water and sewer rates in the city of Frederick, the pay for service kinds of operations that we have. There are licenses and permits. There's intergovernmental transfers, dollars that we may get from the state, the county, or the federal government that gets incorporated into our budget. And then smaller budget pieces, revenue of fines and forfeitures, the catch-all of miscellaneous, and the other financing services and sources that we have. On the expenditure side, the largest single piece of our budget is our operations of DPW. From a budget accounting purpose, if you dive deep into the budget book, you're not going to see a DPW department that has this amount, because DPW is also broken into a lot of smaller operations, signs and street lights and traffic lights and street maintenance, which are all part of those operations that fall under that DPW category. But the next biggest expenditure, the red portion of this pie chart, is the expenditure to our police department, which is about 23% of our operating funds. The other large areas are the amount of money that we pay on debt service, so funds that we have borrowed to undertake various capital projects in the city, most notably in the budget. Most recently, I guess, the largest project that the public would be most visibly aware of will be the new police department headquarters, which will be opening in April, May of 2025. So that is a partially debt-funded project, but it's also major bridge projects, road projects, and other kinds of capital projects the city undertakes. It may include major water and sewer projects as well. Parks and recreation, economic development, planning and community development, engineering, permits and inspections, our community action agency within our Department of Housing and Human Services. All of these are major expenditure areas for the city of Frederick, and this pie chart really reflects at its core what the city of Frederick is, which is a service delivery organization, which is why DPW and the police department show up as substantial recipients of the dollars that we expend. In terms of the current fiscal year, we just wanted to give you a brief review of where we focused our attention. Obviously, on top of looking at the large dollars and pieces of the pie and where it goes, we had focused our attention in the current year's budget on some more specific areas of emphasis. In the quality of life area, it was to allocate dollars towards sidewalks. And in fact, at the public hearing that's scheduled for Thursday night, there will be a contract that will be approved to bring a sidewalk contractor in to help use a technique that we've not used before in the city of Frederick to do some smoothing and grinding of rough sidewalk areas in order to create a more stable, flat surfaces. Sidewalks in the city of Frederick have long been an area of concern expressed by our residents, and we hear those concerns, and we're working now to address those. And the first piece of that, people are going to start seeing with the budget, the action we hope the council will take on Thursday night to approve this contract. Traffic calming is also another major emphasis area in the city. Speeding is probably the number one complaint that we receive in our office and in the police department across the city, and the things that we have been trying to do to get people to slow down. It's everything from an automated enforcement program where we have speed cameras and red light cameras, all in an effort to get people to obey and understand the traffic laws. But it's also the kind of traffic calming you saw on Jefferson Street installed earlier this year, where we've actually taken the effort to reduce the width of the roadway, put more signage up, to draw attention to better painted crosswalks. We're doing this in other areas where we're installing bicycle infrastructure to create safer ways for pedestrians and bicycles to share the road and to share roadways and the sidewalks adjacent to them in ways that are safe, with more high visibility crosswalks, different paint colors, everything that we can do to narrow the roadway, putting these roads on what's called a road diet, helps to improve the safety of those communities. And we've had a multi-year commitment to traffic calming in the city of Frederick, and we've done it this year, and I would look for that to continue in the fiscal 26 budget to look at how we can continue to support those initiatives all across the city of Frederick. And we also made an emphasis in our budget this year to add additional positions within the police department, specifically to allow the police department to create a dedicated traffic unit. We are still working through that implementation. Our ability to do everything that we want to do with our police department and our police officers is contingent on being able to attract and retain those officers through our police academy. So we are running an academy right now. We'll begin another one in a few months. It takes about 8 to 12 months to get an officer in and through the academy and then fully on the street as a fully functioning police officer. So there is some time as we add new positions to the police department. We've been committed to that over my time in office. We've also looked at commitment to sustainability as an area of influence with progress on Rails to Trails, the bike lanes and other multimodal transportation projects, which give our residents alternatives to getting behind the wheel of a car to go from place to place, and creates an opportunity for us to green our community in ways that are both sustainable and create good personal and recreational habits for our residents. We established in this budget an urban forestry department to look at how we both maintain and can continue to expand the tree canopy in the city of Frederick. Our ability to address the climate crisis is going to require us to be more innovative in what solutions look like. And trees and the work that we've been doing in stream restoration are all efforts that are intended to make the city of Frederick as progressive as we can be when it comes to addressing issues of climate change. And last, our ability to maintain a robust and vibrant park system, which is about that commitment to sustainability as well. Our parks are the green space in our community. We have 75 parks that we maintain and operate in the city of Frederick, and those parks serve a wide array of uses across broad amenities. And our ability to be able to build and maintain those parks in sustainable ways and to use that green space as part of our overall effort to create a sustainable community is really important in the city of Frederick. The last area of emphasis in the fiscal 2025 budget that I want to touch upon is our commitment to workforce development and opportunity for all of our residents. We established in the existing year's budget and have now hired the first manager of opportunities and transformation. That was an opportunity for us to build on the work that we had done over the last year as a member of the Good Jobs, Great Cities Academy, an initiative that was created through the Department of Labor and the National League of Cities. It brought technical assistance to the city of Frederick for us to look at ways that we can do more to support our youth, to support those who are returning to work, to those that are trying to determine what they want their work path to look like through apprenticeships and fellowships and returnships. It's also allowing us to work on building a more robust reentry program in the city of Frederick, to look at those of our residents who have been justice impacted and to find ways to ensure that every person in our community who wants an opportunity to work in Frederick, that we're creating those pathways and building those opportunities for them. So that workforce development component is something that we do in partnership with Frederick County Workforce Services and our other nonprofit partners in the city of Frederick. It's why we are really excited about the recent MOU that we have signed to create a youth center in the city of Frederick. That's going to be a critical component of the effort that we are doing to bring workforce opportunities for everyone in the city of Frederick to the forefront. So with that, again, broad overview to just give you a sense of our budget process, where our priorities are this year. We will look as we build a budget for fiscal year 26 to identify what our priorities are going to be as we look ahead, and the input that you all will provide this evening in terms of public comment, and we will ask you to come to this microphone to provide it, will be critical as we work through the end of this calendar year with our department heads. Their budget submissions are due to the Office of the Mayor by December 31st. And for any directors who are here not 1 minute later, I am contractually obligated by my Director of Budget Administration to say that those requests are due by midnight on New Year's Eve. So no going out and having fun. We need your budget requests in. And then we will begin the process of looking through all of those requests and soliciting and synthesizing the requests that come from the community as well over the next couple of months. We've asked you to sort of complete a budget survey, so we certainly want to hear with you in terms of that information as well. All of this is going to help us to process what's necessary to build our fiscal year 26 budget. So with that, thank you very much. Again, appreciate your attendance and would invite anyone who wishes to offer any public comment. We don't have any rigid time limits on the amount of time that you can come to the microphone and speak this evening. We'll be taking notes, but I guess I would just ask you to sort of be respectful to everyone who may be in the room and try and be as direct and succinct as possible in your comments. So with that, if there's anybody who wishes to come forward, raise your hand. Don't be shy. And if you could, as you come to the microphone, just introduce yourself for the record. We'd appreciate that as well.
It's always good to have people come up and share. So I'm more than happy to put myself out there and just volunteer. And having been in Frederick for 15 years, I've seen a lot of changes. And some of the changes I just want to go ahead and call out that I think really represent what Frederick has been going through and trying to improve the community and trying to improve the quality of life and really making it open as well as just making it more accessible. So I want to go ahead and just do a call out. I'm a bike advocate. I'm actually the chair of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee at the Frederick County level, but I am wearing my personal hat tonight. I am speaking only for myself. I want to go ahead and call out David Edmonton, Sharon Epian, and Shradha Pahaja who are doing a wonderful job just trying to go ahead and update our transportation system, especially the active transportation system. If you have not noticed yet, the city has went ahead and renamed their Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. It's now called Active Transportation Committee, and that's really, truly representing where we're trying to go in the city. We're trying to provide a means of our citizens to be able to get around this city, to not have to completely rely on the cars. My wife and I, we are a one-car family. My bicycle represents 90% of what my transportation is, and I ride my bike to Frederick County down south, and I ride back home 5 miles out, 5 miles back. I ride throughout the whole year, and I really do feel that Frederick is a very bikeable community. Having said that, there's a lot of concerns. There are people who want to ride their bike but don't feel safe or that their life are at risk. And so to the extent that the city of Frederick can go ahead and make it easier for people to get on their bikes and go ahead and get to where they want to get to, either to the library, to public facility, or to work site, that to us would represent a really major step forward for the city of Frederick to progress in that fashion. So I'd just like to go ahead and call out a few things of note. I live right over by Norva, near Patrick Street, and I see a lot of bicyclists riding at nighttime. These are people who presumably are working at service restaurants or doing things at night. And we need to make sure that we provide safe access for these people, because for them, bicycle is the only form of transportation. And they do it at night because, well, unfortunately, the bus only runs so late. And so to the extent that we can provide them safe access from a city perspective would be very, very helpful for this community so that they can go ahead and up their quality of life and hopefully be able to achieve a higher standard of living that they can provide for their family. I'm also very looking forward to this Rails and Trails path being put in, and I know that you had received a grant from Representative Tone to go ahead and build a bridge over MD26 to connect the Walkersville community with the city of Frederick, and I'm hoping that I will see that in my lifetime. But I know that that grant had the 5-year period on it. So I am very much looking forward to it. I really think it's going to provide a wonderful access point for people to go ahead and go up north and be able to go into Frederick as well. I also want to go ahead and just mention how important and how vital the active transportation network is to connection to our new neighborhoods. It's really essential that as we build more affordable housing, we need to have some active transportation, multimodal transportation for them to go ahead and get to work, get to school, so on. Without that transportation network, then many of these people that live in these housing development will not be able to go ahead and fully take advantage of the opportunities that they could in the city of Frederick. And then one thing I'd like to just go ahead and put out there, actually two things. I want to go ahead and also commend the dashboard on the the active transportation website. I like how you put out where all the trails are, how far along we are in the progress, and that dashboard really gives us a sense of where things are at, and we're not kind of left in the dark about, are we talking about next year or are we talking 5 years down the road? So I really do appreciate that dashboard. And then finally, I'd like to just go ahead and have the city consider looking at other municipalities that have offered e-bike rebates. E-bike is a game changer, and there are people who will use it. It's a little pricey, but in cities, municipalities that have offered an e-bike to their citizen, especially for people who are means representation or from undeveloped neighborhood or underrepresented neighborhoods, they will take advantage of it, and it will open a door of opportunities for them to take advantage of, because they have a reliable source of transportation to get them to where they need to be. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Shane. Anyone else?
But my tights are my wings, so I'm going to have to move the stick. Okay, Susan Churchill, and I'm going to speak it entirely the opposite of what he just said. I've lived in Hillcrest area for more than 40 years. I taught at Hillcrest Elementary for 19 years. I still volunteer there every week. I know these people. Their idea of freedom is to ditch the bike and get a car. That's the only way they feel comfortable, safe, and it opens up their entire worlds. Those of us who live in older neighborhoods are really pretty upset that a lot of the places where we park are going to be taken over by bike lanes. And I'm going to speak specifically to something I heard at the NAC meeting last week. There was an organization there talking about traffic calming. And I will say that as parents, we worked so hard to get a 4-way stop at McCain and Hillcrest. The architectural engineering firm that spoke has already done some plans. They had no idea that there was going to be a library built nearby. They had no idea that there was a crossing guard there several times every day for children who walk to school. And they had no idea that 15 to 20 cars are parked along McCain every day because those are teachers. How can you take those spaces? We have a health clinic, a parent resource center. We have over 600 students at Hillcrest with a load of staff members and instructional staff and support staff, and they have nowhere else to park. And now you're going to take that for a bike lane that I can tell you in my neighborhood people aren't going to use. So it really bothers those of us who live in older neighborhoods where many of the houses, apartments, and townhouses have multiple families living in them, and they have teenagers and older ones who have cars, and there's nowhere to park. People double park all night long. And like I said, I know my neighbors. I've lived there for so long. I know the families at Hillcrest. They are thrilled to be able to afford a car. Thrilled beyond words. They don't want a bike. They had bikes for such a long time in our neighborhood. There were bikes parked on the front lawns all the time. So our association added something to the rules that you had to park your bike in the backyard. There are no bikes in my neighborhood anymore. None. They have freedom. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you. Additional comments?
You'd have the opposite problem. Thank you, Mayor Connor, for bringing us all together today. My name is Ayala. I'm a resident of downtown Frederick. I live on East 6th Street. So as a resident of East Frederick, I'm excited for the Rails with Trails project. I think that will help extend downtown throughout the rest of the city of Frederick. So I'm looking forward to that. We're also grateful for this time, bringing everyone together. It's a great opportunity to, public transparency, for comment, for, people across any issue. I think it's a really great thing that we're able to come together and, provide public comment. Something great that you mentioned is the tree canopy plan. I'm very glad to see that emphasized and represented there on the budget, something that I think is very important to, keep our 75 parks in the city of Frederick thriving and a place that people want to visit. It wasn't mentioned, but the landscape impact ordinance that was passed just a few weeks ago, I'm excited to see that, emphasized throughout the year. Something else that wasn't mentioned in the sustainability slide that I'm particularly interested in is the composting program. I would love to see implemented throughout the city of Frederick. So, a local pickup every couple of weeks, or bins and cans that are specific to recycling. So sustainability is huge for me. As a young person, I hope to be on this planet for a long time, and I hope to see it, thriving for the rest of my life. So sustainability is a huge focus for me. So I was very glad to see such an emphasis on that. So thank you very much for bringing everyone together and hearing our public comment.
Thank you, Ayala. Thank you all very much for being here this evening. I appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Have a wonderful week.